This happened in the 1970s, when I was a boy. When I was younger, I used to have to go to an after-school studies club in a small classroom. This study group was not affiliated with our actual school. It's known as a cram school here in Japan. Every year, they would throw a Christmas party for us students. I looked forward to it every year because it meant that we didn't have to study so much and we could just watch movies. The teacher had this 8mm movie projector, so it was really great. They were really popular back then. The movies would mainly be anime, Disney, or Charlie Chaplin. The teacher would bring in sweets for us too. It was the best. However, one Christmas, when I was in my 6th year of elementary school, something different happened. There was about 13 of us in the classroom, I think. The teacher set up the projector and turned off all the lights. The machine started whirring, and the homemade screen flicked to life. The movie we had been promised didn't appear on the screen though. Something else did. Huh? This is strange. Let me fix it. Hold on a sec. The teacher said. He shot out of the classroom, presumably to get a tool or something. The projector screen was showing just a white static image until some movie started. It was an amateur home video kind of movie though. There was a girl. She looked about our age. She was playing in the park with some other girls. She didn't really seem to be aware of the cameraman. We all knew that girl. She went to our school. The camera was solely focused on her. The film went on like this for about 3 minutes. Then it abruptly stopped, and the classroom was plunged into darkness. The movie was so odd. It was hard for us to comprehend at our age. Why was it a video of one girl, and why wasn't she even looking at the camera? We started coming up with theories and began to freak each other out. One of the kids near the front of the class couldn't stand the darkness anymore, and he started screaming and asking where the light switch was. This threw all the other kids into a panic. We all started screaming, and we were running to the exit. One of my best friends was one of the last students out of the classroom. The teacher grabbed her arm. She said he held it so tightly, it hurt her. And he whispered, "Don't run away." I told my parents about it, and they agreed to let me leave the cram school. It remained open for years though. When my friend was younger, she always believed in Santa Claus, just like any child. However, when she was in elementary school, due to her strict parents, she became a bit skeptical. She would always ask her parents for a cute doll as a Christmas present, but she would get an encyclopedia instead. When she asked for a game console, she would get an electronic dictionary. This was because her parents wanted her to focus on her education. She didn't want to admit it, but she was losing her belief in Santa. She guessed that he probably wasn't real. Again, when Christmas time rolled around, she didn't get what she wanted, but an illustrated animal fact book. She was really not looking forward to all the other kids bragging about what they got and asking about what she got at school. So she said she didn't get anything that year. That day after school, she decided to walk a different route home to avoid any further questions from her classmates. She said that when she was walking by a residential area, she heard a voice calling out to her. She rounded a corner to see there was a man sat in a park by himself. She looked over, and the man was calling and waving to her. Could this be her uncle or something? He didn't look like anyone she recognized. Hey, I guess you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, right? What was it that you wanted? My friend replied immediately with what she wanted. A game, a doll, anything would do. The old man nodded. He looked a bit dirty, she said. There were no other adults around. Maybe, just maybe, it was Santa Claus, she thought. She was still quite young. But he didn't have a beard like in the picture books she had read. He stroked her head with one of his big hands. "I have a present for you. I'm sure you'll like it." he said to her. He handed over a box big enough to house a basketball. It was wrapped in colorful paper. She thanked him profusely. She knew the box was wooden by the way it felt. He raised one of his big hands and boomed, "Merry Christmas!" So she went on her way home with her present, wondering all the while what was inside. A doll? A game? Which one did Santa give me? As soon as she got home, she opened her gift. A large jar was sat inside the box. It fit perfectly in there. She opened the lid of the jar, and there was nothing but this sand-like stuff in there. What the hell? She wondered. Maybe the present was at the bottom of the jar. She dove her hand deeper into the bottom of the jar again and again, each time spilling the white sand on her clothes and on the floor. At that time, her mother walked into the room. She looked at her daughter, digging around in a jar, and asked what she had there. She smiled. My friend started to tell her mother about how she had just met Santa on the way home. "Where did you get that? Tell me right now." Her mother's smile was gone, and she looked very shocked and concerned. My friend was scared by her mother's panic. She didn't say anything. She was worried. Her mother's shock and disgust were justified. She knew what the sandy substance and the jar was. Her daughter was playing with an urn. And that white sand, which had been scattered on the floor, and was now all over her daughter's clothes and hands, was human ashes. When I was 4 years old, I saw Santa Claus. I woke up in the dead of night. I rolled over in bed, and I happened to glance towards the window. I saw an old man in my room, with a big sack in his hand. He was about to leave through the window, which surprised me, since my bedroom was on the second floor. "It's Santa!" I roared inside my mind. For some reason, the words wouldn't come out. I remember I was too nervous. I didn't want to scare him and make him leave. I felt very sleepy, and I just fell back to sleep. The next morning when I woke up, there was a present waiting for me under the tree. Of course it was from my parents, but I had no idea at the time. I thought Santa had brought it. I believed in Santa until I was in high school, because I actually seen him with my own eyes. I couldn't understand why some kids were saying he wasn't real. I'm much older now, and it was only a few days ago that I remembered the event and brought it up to my parents. I wanted to ask them if it was one of them dressed up. My mum was obviously shocked by the story. Her response was, "Back then when you were 4, a lot of strange things were happening at home. Things from our house went missing, food, possessions, etc. We found a dirty footprint in your bedroom too, from a boot, which matched none of the ones in our house. You didn't see Santa Claus. I'm really sorry. I'm also really glad that you didn't call out to whoever was in the room with you." Come to think of it, the sack that he was carrying probably wasn't a sack but a bag. I remember that it was white, and I know that's not the usual color of Santa's sack. He looked dirty. The bag looked dirty. I most likely saw a burglar in our home.